Hello, everybody. Welcome to Objection.js. I will be your host, Kyle Coberly, and by the end of this lesson, you should be able to implement relationships using the Objection.js ORM. So let's start by scaffolding out an Express app. All right, so let's keep the metaphor simple. Let's do dogs and owners again. Why not? So this is going to be objection dog park. My favorite dog park. All right, nothing up this sleeve, nothing up this sleeve. How do I get started building out an Express app? John, get me started.
First thing I would do is npm init.
Love it. And I'm just going to blast through all that. Cool. Jesse, give me another thing to do. Yep, got to unmute.
Oh, sorry, Kyle. I'm slacking with a student trying to fix a bug. I'm sorry.
No problem. Christine, what am I doing?
Create an index.js file.
Love it. Cool. John, give me another thing to do.
npm install express.
I love it. Cool. Christine, give me another thing to do.
Go into your index.js file and require express.
Love it. John, what am I doing next?
Too much pressure. You have to hint. Can I get
what
a
do
hint?
I do with Express?
You have to pull out a server. There's something that you got to pull out of there. I just don't remember what it is. App. Oh yeah, you're pulling an app from Express. And
Pull in app from Express, or
you're pulling. Oh man.
if somebody says like pull in app from Express, here's what I'm expecting.
Once again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, traveling on flight
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're pulling in.
Looks like to me. That's probably not what we do.
If anyone needs to use the restroom,
We initialize
again, we will be
How?
boarding by rows rather than
by
rows,
just
so
saying
please
express and
boarding at
constructing
this
it.
time. And we do
Express
request
and
that
constructing
everybody
it. When you
maintain
say
at least 60
constructing
distance
it, I
throughout the boarding
expect
process. Anybody has any further
something
questions,
like
please
that,
feel
which is
free to
probably not
boarding
what I
at this
want.
time. Thank you.
I guess just asking for a new instance of express.
Yep. How do I do that?
Express open and close
Yep.
parentheses.
I invoke Express is how we would say that in programmer language.
Express.
You invoke Express, and its return value is this app thing that we're going to work with. Cool. Christine, give me another step.
Have the app listen on a specific port.
Cool. So I can say 3,000, 4,000. Anybody remember how we got this to work with an assignable port?
Like port dot, or no, it's something dot environment, and then an OR operator, and then port. I just don't remember what the computer is. Process dot environment.
Process.env is the environment for your computer.
Okay.
And so port is a variable that we're storing in the environment. If it's assigned, let's use that. If not, let's use port 4000. Okay, and then we do the app.listen. Jason, give me another step.
You're gonna have to do npm install connects.
Not yet. We're just scaffolding out the Express app so far.
Then you could define your first route.
Sure. How do we do that?
I believe it's app.get, and then you take in the place that they would be going to. So I guess if this is the index, it wouldn't take anything in.
Ooh, that's not taking anything in. What do I want to do? Not that. What's the index?
It's the root.
Yep. How do I write that in code?
Just localhost?
Like that?
No, because that would be a sub. It would indicate sub. Do I just put in root?
Like that?
That doesn't seem right.
That doesn't seem right. What's it supposed to be?
Backslash?
Backslash. Ta-da.
Okay.
Cool. So it's a GET request to the root, which we're representing with the slash there. Rachel, what do I do next? Oop, I can't hear you. I see you're unmuted, but check your microphone. Keep farting around with that, because I do want to chat with you. But give me an idea of what I can do next. You can put it in chat if you want. Cool, love it. So request response. And then fat arrow it. It is pretty popular to write rec and res for these. I think it's even in the official docs. I fucking hate this. And I'll tell you why. Like, it's not any harder to write the actual words like a grown-up. And it doesn't make it run any faster or anything like that. All it does is make your brain do the work of expanding the abbreviation into what the actual word is. That's such a stupid
May I
cost
have your
savings.
attention, please?
So
Centers for
use the
Disease
actual
Control
word.
and Prevention
All right.
social distance.
And
Stop,
then,
press adjourn.
let's see, John, give me one
Please
last
keep
thing I can
6
do
feet
here.
of distance from others. Pay for your bag.
Sorry,
or gather in any
the airport's
area of
telling me
the
to
airport.
social distance.
Thank you.
This is where you would say, like, you could define what your return is going to be. So
Yep.
if you want to just return a message, you can do it with .send. If you want to return like a JSON file or something like that, you do it with .json, and then you put the whatever object you want inside of that.
Cool. So if I run this, I have an Express app. If I say node, this file, and I go over to yield port 4000. All right, we're in good shape. So now let's do the connects part of this. We're going to do dogs and owners with a join table in between. Christine, what do I do to get started with that?
npm install connects PG.
Love it. What's the PG part of it?
It's a driver for the Postgres database.
It's the driver for the Postgres database. Very nice. So I'm going to install both of those.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, yes, we can. Thank you for working on that.
Sure.
Cool. Jason, give me another step. Jason, you with us?
Yeah.
Cool. What's the next step?
Would it be requiring your connects?
Probably even before that, because I can do that. I can put that in the index file, but connects is going to want
The
something
connects
else.
file? You
Yeah,
can
how do I
generate the
make
config
that?
file?
How do I make that connects file?
I honestly don't remember. I could check my notes.
Cool. Who can help Jason out?
Connects in it.
Cool. Jason, what do I do?
npx connects in it.
Very nice. All right, so that gives me a connects file. Very nice. Let's see.
In general, is init just like setting up the starting file for a software package or something?
Sometimes it might ask you questions about your computer. It might look at details of your computer and configure something for you. Could do lots of things.
Okay.
But But in this case, all it did is make this file with all the boilerplate in it for me. I don't have to do anything else. I could have just done touch connects file.js and called it good. That works
Okay.
too. But when I do a init, I get that that boilerplate along with it.
Kind of like
Cool.
bundle
Rachel,
init or
what was that, Jay? What was that?
no, it's just like every init that I could think of create some kind of file, like bundle init,
Mhm.
npm init, next init, I guess.
Mm-hmm. That's 3 of them. Cool. Rachel, what am I doing next?
I'm probably going to create a database.
Okay, cool. So this is dog park objection, I'm going to call it. All right, database is created. John, give me another step.
Oh man, you can create a migration now.
Okay. Well, can
I
I?
don't remember the command.
I'm not sure I can.
You created the database.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if it lets me. I'll tell you the command. npx connects migrate make, and I want to make create dogs and owners. Wow, well, good. Hey, buddy.
It's almost like you expected that.
SQLite 3. I'm not using SQLite 3. What's even happening here?
Oh, you've got to configure your connects file.
Correct.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's got to know what I want to make the migration in. Okay, so I'm in here. Christine, what am I doing?
Since we're only going to use a development database, I can delete the staging and production.
Cool. Now that I'm in here, what do I want to change all this to?
Change the client to PG.
Good.
And then change the connection to a string, which I don't remember offhand how you write the database name. But
So I know, yeah, the database name goes in here for sure, which was
Dog park objection.
Dog park objection. All right, thank you. Okay, there's some other stuff that goes in here too, though. What is it, Christine?
Is it Postgres?
Okay, that's part of it.
I know there's 3 slashes, but I'm not sure if there's anything else.
We're so close. There are 3 more characters left.
The PostgreSQL.
Okay, there's 1 more character
and
left.
a colon.
There we go. Very nice. Cool. So now we're connecting to the database. Let's try that command again. All right, migration worked. So, Jason, give me an idea where to get started on these migrations.
You've got to do the up and down function. So the up would be creating the table.
Do you remember the syntax for that?
I believe it's connects.schema.make table.
Ooh, so close. Not make table.
Create table.
Yeah.
And once again, ladies and gentlemen, we do
All right, I gotta go, guys. Have a good one.
Bye, John.
Bye.
Safe trip.
Thank you.
Okay, so create table. We're going to create the dogs table. And call this table. It's going to have an increments. Anybody remember what increments does?
Gives you an auto incrementing ID.
Correct. And dogs are going to have names. Neat. I'm also going to make the, I'm going to make all 3 tables in this. So there's 2 different ways you could do this. These are promises, And so I could do dot then. I don't actually need anything from the response. I just need to, for whatever happens next to come after that. So I could do it that way. This is actually one of the few cases where I think async await is fucking gorge. So if I make this an async function like that, check this shit out. So I take out the return there. I'm just going to put the return at the end. And we can just put await in front of these. And now it's going to do them all sequentially, even though they're asynchronous. So I could do that. Here's another thing I'm going to do. This is going to break a little bit from what we did in Rails. So my first love in programming was database design. I can prove it with my, this is my, let's see if I can pull my screen up. Look at that. This is my state competition trophy from college for database design. And so imagine my shock and horror when I found out that Rails uses plural database names. This is dumb. It is like we've talked about with conventions and stuff, follow the conventions. If you try to singularize table names in Rails, you're going to have a bad time. But Rails is wrong. That is a bad way to do this. So instead, we're going to, since we have the control now, we're going to make these singular. All right, so I've got dog owner and dog owner. And this one is going to have a table dot integer dog ID references ID in table dog. And then owner ID like so. If you're wondering, if this is the first time you've seen async await syntax, you might go, why did old man Coberly make me do all this dot then bullshit when I had await sitting right there? This syntax is beautiful. It's very Ruby-esque, super easy to follow, doesn't have the crazy dot then chains. And I think it's really great for things like migrations where it absolutely doesn't matter whether or not it works. In like regular production code, you can't write it like this. You have to put it in a try-catch block like that. And then you have to do something with the error. And that syntax is way grosser than a promise chain. But they do the exact same thing. So if this is your first time seeing async await, welcome. It's really that simple. Okay, so we make these three tables, we make the join relationship, and then anybody, how do I undo this?
Connects.schema.drop if exists.
Yep. It's drop table if exists. Okay. Is there any order that I have to do these in?
You'd want to do the join table first.
Correct. Why?
Because otherwise you'll get foreign key required exceptions.
That is correct. And these are all async also. So let's make this an async function and await each of them. Cool. Awesome. I think we're ready to go. Let's give it a shot. If I do, let's see. npx connects come on, man. Migrate latest All right, it ran some migrations. What am I doing next? Anyone? Rachel, give me an idea of what I can do next.
Create a seed file.
Yeah, love it. Connects, seed, make. Neato. So if I go into that seed file, we can async this up too. Ah. Okay, just like in our schema, probably want to blow out all the dog owner records first. Cool. So, and then we want to do these backwards from that. So we're going to make some owners. I can say that const Kyle equals connects.
What was the command to create the seed file? Sorry.
It was npx connects seed make, seed colon make, and then the name of the seed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we run into a small problem here that we didn't the last time we were doing this. So this has us hard coding IDs. Nope, that only works if you're going to run the seed once. If you ever need to run it multiple times, which is kind of the entire point of seeds, then since we're auto-incrementing IDs, we don't want to manage them ourselves. So what we'll do is say, insert this record returning, say returning the ID. So I'll call this Kyle ID. And if we await it, we're in good shape. We're going to make an Elise ID. Cool. And then we're going to make some dogs. The Bixby ID. And we'll have Mesa ID. And then we'll throw Harmony in there. Harmony ID. Cool. So if I run this, that should give me those IDs. I kind of want to see that it does. So I can run the seeds and then log these to see. So if I console log Kyle ID, Elise ID, Bixby ID, Mesa ID, Harmony ID. The first time I run this, how would I know whether or not I'm actually seeing the thing that I want to see? What should those numbers be? Think to yourself for a sec. I'm gonna call someone. What things would log that would make me confident that I did this correctly? Christine, what do you think?
I'm assuming like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
That's what I'm thinking. So if I run npx connects seed run 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, very nice. I'm glad I did that though, because what else did I learn from that?
Returns an array for each one.
Returns an array for each one, even though I only want the first one. So
I've got to hop out, Kyle, but thanks so much. I'm looking forward to the recording.
cool. So this is where this await syntax gets a little bit confusing. So each of these are arrays. So I could do something like that for each of them. Don't do that, because I said it's an ID. It's not an ID though. It's an array. So we want to fix this over here, but we can't just do that. Can anybody tell me why?
Because it's a promise.
Because it's a promise. There's no array index 0 of a promise. So I actually need to resolve that promise like this. And yeah, you can mix and match await and dot then syntax. So if I throw each of those on the end, and then run that again, I should see each of those numbers go up by 1, which is fine. 3, 4, 4, 5, 6. Hell yeah. All right, we're in flavor country. So I have these IDs. Now I want to make the dog owner records. So I'm going to say await connects dog owner insert. And insert takes an array. This is like a good example of like one of the things that's kind of neat about doing this in connects in like JavaScript instead of just in raw SQL. Passing an array to this kind of thing is a lot easier. So I can say the dog owner ID is, or owner ID is Kyle ID, and the dog ID is Bixby ID. And then I can say also Kyle owns Mesa. Kyle doesn't own Harmony, but Elise does. And Elise also owns Mesa. Okay, so should be able to run this. Yep, something I didn't like.
I think you have Elise as the dog for one.
What? Wrong call. Good catch. All right, ran the seed correctly. Hey, that's a good example of like a foreign key constraint saving us from a mistake. They don't catch every mistake, but they catch some of them. Okay, so I have a database scaffold out. I have Express set up. So now I just need to connect these with objection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a repo of this. I'm going to post it up, and so you can clone it down and start at the exact same place as me and everybody else. So I'll do that. I want to ignore node modules. Cool, 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 cool. All right, cool. So what you want to do is go to this URL, which I'm putting in chat right now. You should fork it, you should clone it. And then once you get it down, what things do you imagine you will need to do to get this to work? Because it's not going to work right off the bat. There's 2 things you need to do first. What are they?
npm init.
Not npm init, you're close. I've already initted it. You have a package.json file.
npm install.
npm install, just like bundle install with a Rails project. You want to have all the dependencies that I put in that dependencies file. So npm install will get those. And then second thing we do that's kind of outside of the app in a way.
Do we have to migrate?
You have to migrate. You also have to seed. And before you do either of those, you need to.
Create the database.
I heard it. What was it?
Create the database.
Create the database. So if you want yours to work just like mine did, you have to call it the same thing also. So dog park objection, you're gonna do create DB. Like that. Run that on your terminal. Then npx migrate latest. Look like this. Dog park objection npx connects migrate latest npx connects seed run. Once you've npm installed, those three commands should get you up to speed.
Kyle, I'm getting an error.
What's your error?
When I try to migrate, it says the migration directory is corrupt. Following files are missing.
Uh-oh.
Would it be, I mean, I created the database already with the same name.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
You can just change the name. That's fine. If you want to call this dog park objection 1 and then create DB, whatever that is.
Gotcha.
Yeah, your database actually keeps track of the migrations. That's why you got that error.
Cool, that worked.
Give me a thumbs up if you're caught up. Jason's a yes, Christine's a yes. Rachel, how you doing?
Just bundle and knitting, and then I should be.
npm install.
Oh, npm. That's what I did.
Yeah, these 4 commands should get you up and running. You got it, Rachel?
Yep.
Cool. So to start with, let's go back to our index.js file. The thing we're trying to do is, let's say, get a list of dogs and include their owners in it. So if I were going to hard code a response, you don't have to follow along with this. I might make a request to /dogs, and then I'd maybe expect a dogs array with the names of each of my dogs. Come on now, there we go. So I expect some kind of response like that back, but I also want like an owner's property that's also an array that has each of the owners in it. Something like this. And I can test that this part of it all works if I node the file and go to localhost/dogs. All right, I'm trying to see something like this once I get it right. But now it's all hard-coded. So enter objection. We go to objections, docs. We go to get started. This tells us we need to install objection and connects. Well, cool. We already have connects installed, so we want to npm install objection. So do this one with me. npm install objection. Cool. And then same thing with these drivers. We got them already. So in our index.js file, we're going to start doing some of this kind of stuff. You open up your index.js file. First thing we want to do is pull in model from objection. Listen carefully to like how I used those words. I'm going to pull in model from objection. So that's what this destructure is about. Objection has an export called model already, and I want that out of it. So I'm going to say const model require objection. Done. And then it wants connects also. So this one, we don't pull anything out. Also, I wouldn't capitalize the K in that. I don't think that makes any sense. So we want something like that. And then what they're telling us to do next, what does that look like? We did this last time. We didn't do it in the index.js file.
A development.
Yeah, it looks like that development hash in our connects file. Cool. So I'll bet we can just pull that in. We can call that config. And I can say, I want, anybody remember the syntax for this part? It's a little bit funny.
It's that process.environment.node environment.
Yeah. Then what?
Or, and then development.
Yeah. So that or pattern, you're going to see that all over programming. That's not a JavaScript thing. That's a programming thing. That is the easiest way to do a default in like most C-style languages. Okay, cool. So I've got a config. Everybody remember what I do next?
Equals config dot
Ooh.
config hashtag, or it's like it. Oh no. We pass in the config
Yeah,
to the
you
connect.
pass it in. That's your database connection. Okay. Neat. Now we tell models that its connects, its database connection is that. Is it use? No, that connects. Table. Cool. So this sets up your database connection with connects, and then tells model, by the way, for all your models that we're planning on making with this is how they connect to the database. You should get this far. I'm going to give you a sec to catch up. All right, give me a thumbs up if you got this. Cool. Awesome. On to the fun stuff. So this is how we make models in Objection. You use the class syntax and you extend model. So I could make something like class owner extends model. And then everything relating to my owner class is going to go in there. So let's take a look at what we have here. Table name, and this says static get. We didn't do either of these in React. Jason, Mr. C#, what's the static keyword mean?
Static is it would be the equivalent to Ruby of a class variable when you say like self dot something.
Exactly.
It doesn't pertain to an instance, it pertains to the class.
Exactly. So this would be person.tablename, not Kyle.tablename. That's what the static means. Yeah, in Ruby we did self.whatever. This is the exact same thing. Static is like the academic-y kind of word for it. This get's kind of interesting though. Anybody know what that is?
Isn't that defining the method?
No. Table name is the name of the method. Get is a modifier on it.
I got nothing.
Yeah, let's take a look. So what the get lets me do, so this is a method, but watch the syntax on this. Like that. It's a method, but I call it like a property. I didn't do that. I didn't invoke it, even though it's a method. I just wrote it like a property.
Oh.
That's what
So
that
it makes it like an accessor?
Yep, that's literally what it is. It's a getter method.
So if you were doing a mutator, would it be a set?
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, if we did a set, we could do something like this dot some shit equals new value. But the syntax for it would be something like owner.tablename equals this will go in the thing, even though we wrote it like a method.
So this is like the equivalent of getters and setters from Java.
This is exactly what that is.
Got it. But
Okay.
that set get syntax, is that specific to JavaScript or is that specific to this framework?
That's specific to JavaScript. That's part of JavaScript class syntax.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right, so I've got the table name in there. We'll do these relation mappings in a sec. All of this was our migrations. That's our seeds. Cool. So at a minimum, this is all we need. We can do some stuff with this right off the bat. For example, if I just do this dot query, that should like give me all the stuff. So like, let's say, nope, none of that. Response, let's see. I'll do owner dot query dot then So this should be all the owners. Let's see if it works. Hey, it gave me a list of all the owners. Sick. If I did that same thing with dogs, I could say dog.query. Run it. Get a list of the dogs. We're kind of in like active record land right now. So take a second and get both of those in there and make sure that they come back correctly from your API. I'll give you a second. All right, give me a thumbs up if you have this working. Christine's good. Jason, Rachel, what can I help you with?
I'm just checking this. I just finished typing it, so now it's just running and verifying. Oh. Requires stack module not found.
Take a look at how you brought in model at the top.
I'm good.
Cool. Rachel, you need any help?
I just have a syntax error somewhere.
Do you want a screen share?
Sure. I
All
think
right.
I'm probably missing a parenthesis or something.
Okay. Your second app.get is inside of the first one.
Oh. Is it?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't close that one off.
And then app.get is a function, so it needs a closing paren at the end also.
Oh, I see.
There you go. And then ditto for that second one. All right, run it. let's take a look at your URLs. That's a 404. That's a good one. Ah, they're both GET requests to the index.
Oh, do I need both of them?
May as well keep both of them. One of them's going to be /dogs. The other one's going to be /owners.
I see.
Cool. Kill your server. Start it again.
There we go.
Beautiful. All right. So we have done like simple tables with objection. That's all there is to it. So, but we've got relationships here. I want to be able to like get all of a dog's owners and get all of an owner's dogs. So this syntax is way noisier than the equivalent thing in Rails. In Rails, you could just do has many and then has many through and like handle it that way. It's a little bit louder in objection. So let's take a look. So, all right, here we go. So this is the example we'll go off of. There is, for this class, we're going to make another static property called relation mappings.
Oh, you're not sharing your screen.
I am not sharing my screen. Womp womp. There we go. So we've got table name, and you can just assign it to a string. It doesn't have to be a getter, but why not? We're going to make a second static property. It's called relation mappings, and it's an object. Inside of that object, the keys are the things that we want to be able to like look up on the model. Those are equal to an object that has what kind of relation it is, what the name of the thing that we're ultimately trying to relate to, and then this join key that describes how we get to it. What are the things in the database that are the same? What would like the join statements look like, kinda? And we have a from, a through, and a to. Let's give it a shot. So owner is going to have a static property called dogs. Or sorry, static relation mapping. Z, plural. And it's an object. This is step one. You go, cool. What would you like to have a relationship with? You go, okay, cool, dogs. That's also going to be an object. All right. What kind of relationship does owner have with dogs? Well, it's a many-to-many relationship. So we say that its relation is model dot many-to-many relation. Like that. All right, the gnarly part comes next. Is there any part of this that is confusing so far? Cool. So the next part, we make an object called join on here. And join has 3 different keys that go on it. From, which is going to be a string. Through, which is going to be an object. And to, which is also going to be a string. From is basically me. What do I have that relates to this? And so you'd say something like owner owner.id. I am an owner. The thing that like a dog is going to relate to me on is my ID, so that goes there. And then we go, okay, what is like the unique identifier for the thing that I'm ultimately trying to relate to? Well, that's dog ID. That part's not too bad so far. The through is what trips people up. So the through also has a from and a to, and they're strings. And this is what we're looking for, the join table, and we're looking for what matches those things up. And they go like based on which one's close to it. So I say dog, oh, come on, man. Dog owner dot owner ID. And I start with the owner because the owner's up here. Then from the other side, dog owner dot dog ID, because those two things are closer to each other. Questions about that? This is how we declare a many-to-many relationship with objection. I have an owner model, and I tell it how I can get the owner's dogs. Ask me a question.
So just kind of repeating back to what I'm understanding to make sure it's correct. So the from specifies the table and the field that we are linking in the existing table. So we're in the owner class that's modeling the existing table.
All of these tables exist already. So it's based on the class that you're currently in.
Right. So this owner class models our owner table.
Yes.
And I'm saying I want the owner ID, so the field in the table name .id.
Correct.
And the first value in the through, the from value for the through, is the verbose name of what that table is called. And in the join table, that join table name followed by that, the same, like the foreign key from the from.
Yes, that foreign key and this primary key need to match.
And then the to has to match the two following, and once again we have the join table followed by the field name, and then the primary key table followed by the primary key field.
Well done, Jason. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
So let's take a look at how I use this. So it's not related query. We want, no, these. We want with graph fetched. This is our magic word here. We do with graph fetched, and then whatever we put up here at the top of our relation mappings. So if this is, I'm gonna change this to owners real quick. If I do owner.query dot with graph fetched dogs, I'm gonna take the owners and send them back. I should see Kyle and Elise and our like respective dogs. Let's give it a shot. So this is on /owners, 4,000 /owners. Oops, someone didn't like. Model class is not defined. Oop. Oh shit, I think it needs the that to be declared first. All right, let me try that. Nope, didn't like that either. Model class is, oh, I know why. This
We have
part
to
of the
do the same
relation
thing.
mapping is you need to tell it what the model of the thing you're related to is. Hang on, let's run the example. Model class, right there. So we say model class is, oops, goes in here. Model class is dog. That.
So it goes before relation.
It doesn't matter. It's an object, so the order doesn't matter.
Okay. But it goes within that hash.
Correct. And then I see at the top level, Kyle and Elise, and then my dogs, Elise's dogs. Many to many achieved.
Okay, so you don't put it, oh, I put it in quotes. I was like, why is this not working?
No, it's looking for the actual class.
Okay.
Owner.query with graph fetched. What's cool about that is that, let's say it has multiple relationships. So in the query, this takes like an array of these things. So I could say certifications. I also want certifications dot agencies dot countries or something. If I want to like traverse all these relationships. That's it. Now, in real life, we have so far put our entire app in one file. Don't do that. But
Wait, Kyle, can you go down to your get for owners?
mhm.
With graph fetch dogs, owners, and owner. Huh.
Are you having trouble?
Well, I don't get the nested. I just get the regular. Oh, now I'm not.
Have you killed your server and restarted?
Yes.
Okay. That's still happening?
Yup.
Jason, why don't you screen share?
Okay. Make this a lot bigger.
Yes, please.
So I have app.get owners, request response, owner.query with graph fetch dogs, then owner. Goes
All
over
is
the
good so far. Let's take a look at how you did this. So he has owner, extends model. The table name for that is owner. It has relation mappings for dogs. Uses the dog model, which looks good. It is a many-to-many relation. It joins from owner ID, which is the class that he's in right now. Goes from dog owner.owner ID those things need to be the same. Looks like they are. The dog owner.dog ID, which should match dog.id. Okay, go down. With graph, well, actually, you're getting the error. It's telling you exactly what's wrong with it.
It's not a function.
Yeah.
Is it fetched?
Yes.
So now if I, oh wait, I gotta stop it. There we go. Okay.
Hey! Good job. Cool. Ask me some questions.
So you don't need to go, oh, go ahead.
No. I was just going to ask about like how you would organize the file structure. Like, would each class just get its own file and then you import them or acquire them?
That's what I would do. So let's do that now. If I mcdir models and I touch models.dog.js and owner.js. All right. And while we're at it, in that models folder, we're going to have to do that database connection like a couple times. So let's put that in a single place also. So we'll call that database connection.js. All right, we've got dog owner database connection. So start with the database connection. And that is, oops, these 3 lines right here. That's good, that's good, that's good. And anybody know in Node how we export a file? Similar to import-export syntax, a little bit different. Module.exports equals. And so when I require something in, it's going to require in whatever I export here. All right. So I've got a database connection. And then for all of these classes, like for dog, I'm going to need to take model. I'm going to need to tell it what its database connection is. And so this will be something like, all right, for database, const database equals require database connection. And then this could be module.exports equals, like that. And then for owners, it's going to work kind of the same way. I can copy that, put it in here, take all this stuff from owner, and just module.exports that. And that means that now I can rip all of these things out. And this owner's route needs owner. Cool. How about I just import owner? Like that. See if it still works. Yep, something I didn't like. So I should have seen that coming. Dot, because it's up a folder. Nope, not the database connection. Dog is not defined. So when we're doing these relations, all right, well, if I'm going to relate to dog, I need to be able to bring that in. Cool. Does it still work? No. It's mad about something. Oh, it's because I ran the wrong file again. All right. Let's see if it works. Hey, there everybody is. We got all this stuff beautifully separated out. So if you'd like to give yourself a little challenge, see if you can get this to work the other way. Can you do a dogs route that gives you all the dogs as well as their owners nested? Should be able to pattern match your way through that one. Neat. What else? Give me more questions.
If you decided later you wanted to add another attribute, would it be just like adding a column in SQL kind of?
Yeah, so that's actually going to happen from the migrations. You're going to make another migration. You're going to, instead of create table, it's like modify table or something like that. And then, yeah, you just add another table to it, run your migration. Sometimes you need to say, like, let's say you're adding it and it's a new required column. Okay, well then all of your existing records are now like have blank values in there. So you might need to say what you should do default all of your existing columns to and whatever else. But yeah, that'll all be handled with migrations.
Cool.
What else? Going once. Going twice. Sold. You are now many-to-many objection experts, right? All right. Thanks a lot, gang.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yep.
Thank you.